And we're in for the first game, and if I have seen it correctly, it should be islands. And yes, these are definitely islands, and it's going to be 4v4. So, quite a lot of players overall, but that's basically the first 4v4, if I remember correctly, of the season. We have cast 3 games, and I should be remembering it because I've been casting all 3 matches so far, so yeah, that should be it. So that's, of course, going to be a lot of players and a lot of action to actually take a look at. And looking at the civilizations, we are looking at pretty much a standard. There are going to be switches around. We are seeing Huns for both teams, Vikings as well, Japanese also. And then there's a switch. For Stinsons, we are having Mongols, whereas for IIDAs, there are Saracens. Well, both are pretty valuable options on both of these teams in here on the water map, but I would be slightly maybe favoring the Saracens. They definitely are pretty great on the water maps, and yeah, let's see if that's going to be paying off for the IIDA team. Otherwise, as far as level goes, this is going to be something like 1650 level for both of these teams. They are hovering from about 1600 to 1700, so it should be pretty equal match. We see in a very exciting game between those two clans in here in Division 1. And well, otherwise, as I'm looking around the map, I don't really see much of a problem with the gold and stone placement so far. Seems to be pretty much alright. This gold at the bottom, maybe in Imperial Age it could be a bit of a problem, maybe even Castle Age, but not really all that much. Still be able to get it from the top. And I'm thinking if in the Imperial Age they are having problems with this gold, they are probably going to be having a bit more problems than just that. Going to be a bit harder game for them in that case. Switching into a green player, he's having basically similar gold in here, but otherwise the one on the other side of the island is pretty much safe. The stone is also pretty much fine, so not any kind of problem for him. And looking, for example, for the corner fishies in here, that's actually going to be interesting because this is between Akeno, who is from IIDA, and his opponent from Stinson, T-West, is going to be basically hoping that he can probably get to the same corner for the fish. So really curious how this is going to develop. And it's going to be Viking against Japanese. So just basically stressing that the Japanese, they do want their fishies because of the extra bonus for the fishing boats. And really, I'm kind of curious if he's going to be falling for it. Because if he's going to be coming for the top side, for the corner, and he's going to be facing Viking in there, yeah, I don't really predict all that much fishing for him going on in the game to come. So definitely going to be interesting for him. Probably a problem with the pathing for this girl. The wood line in here. But he's going for a lot more defensive dock, which definitely makes sense, as he knows where his allies are. If we're going to be, for example, into Akena right now to have a proper look on him, he knows where his allies are, of course, on the minimap. That tells him that he needs to be a bit more careful. As a Japanese, he will probably want to go for fast castle. And yeah, that's going to be up to him. Make it just fine. Alright, this was quite close for yellow for the fix. Almost lost the scout. Quite careful just now, already should be coming for it. Even though it's not really going to be mattering all that much, as of course on islands the scouts are kinda useless, it's still something that you can place somewhere on the part of the island, for example like here on the promontory, to actually have a look when the opposing boats are coming around. That can help you with the scouting. You don't have to rely just on the houses around the map. Otherwise, the bottom corner there is basically IIDAs, seems to be quite alright. A lot of fishes in there for both of these players, for both yellow and orange, but yellow has already dropped a dock in quite unfortunate position, unfortunately for him. They probably haven't docked all that much with Akeno, because they're going to be stealing fishes from each other, and that's not good news. That's not good news at all for them, especially for Akeno. And Idefix, he's Saracen, so he wants probably to boom a bit as well. Not exactly sure, but he's in the pocket, so you would be assuming that he will want to go for faster castle. But really, this is not good news at all, and I'm definitely looking forward to how either Akeno or Idefix is going to be dealing with this problem. Otherwise, stone definitely unsafe. That's potentially a bit of a problem. The gold is quite fine, second stone reasonably fine as well, and the second gold is also pretty much alright. So that's going to be not much of a problem in the end, just this front gold if they happen to lose the water. He has built an aggressive dog, so definitely thinking about a bit of aggression together with his last ally, King Marv, on the right side. So they are going to be a double into the front, and well, yeah, exactly the placement of the scout, but maybe he's just waiting in here to actually be luring the deer a bit later. But yeah, let's see about that. That's going to happen. In the meantime, pretty interesting island in the middle with double gold so far, but a lot of wood. So if this game goes along, rather into the late game, it's definitely going to be very valuable for both of these teams, but it's very much closer, I'm thinking, to the purple player. It's not all that much of a difference from the orange one and from the blue one, but I kind of really favor it for the opposing team as this is slightly closer and doesn't seem to be all that important for the later game because I'm looking at this other island and it seems much better, not only because of the double stone on it and the triple gold actually, oh, quadruple stone, because it is also having quite funny spawn and as it's swung, which means that it's going to be pretty nice protection from game video and it's basically going to be like in a protected pocket, like literally that's one of the best pocket positions that you can get on the islands and well, what we expecting pretty nice booming from him, but yeah, they need to be careful about the water because if they lose it, he's probably going to be losing both of these stones and quite potentially even this gold. As we are advancing into the feudal ages, we are looking at two players not advancing, and that's yellow, Stsn, and oh man, what's the remaining color in there? Orange is there, red is missing. Okay, Mongols are also going for a bit later advance, so probably fast castle, and of course that's going to be the Mongol, which really makes a whole lot of sense to me. Somebody's really working quite alright on securing his shoreline. If it wasn't for the shoreline to his teammate, that's kinda weird. Exactly sure if it wasn't, there wouldn't be better towards the opponent. But yeah, they're of course going to be having a lot of fun in here at the bottom, as he is, as a Han, going already, or rather Han, Japanese already been preparing for a bit of a galley rushing. So not even fast castling for him, but he's going to be facing a Viking, so definitely tough job for him. And yeah, you would be expecting that the Viking should be having the upper hand, the galley rushing at the very start. So of course, those are going to be having a bit of fun amongst themselves. As men's teams seems to be aiming for the castle, definitely with the blacksmith and the market. Whereas on the left we don't see all that many boats yet, because T-West was basically going for a lot more defensive build-up. Even for a Viking, that's kind of unusual. Usually Vikings do want to be actually in the front so that they are as closest to opponents as possible. And well, it of course right now taking him quite a lot of time. He's switching to the right, not really to the left. They are having quite similar colors on the water on the minimap, so kind of tough to see for me. But yeah, he's going to be arriving between the yellow and green player pretty soon. But they are so far not having any kind of boats at all, so they are just booming and hoping that the faster castle is of course going to be something for them as well. So basically the only battle is right now happening on the right side, whereas everyone else is basically just booming and going for the castle ages. Right now G-Man Sims and Peter Pan are both already advancing, going for fletching. A lot of the players in here. And game video coming into the feudal age like quite late, just 14.5 minutes with 28 villages and 17 fishing boats. Basically the most of all the players, even more than Idefix on the other side of the map. So definitely pretty strong boom for him. Well, let's see how he will be able to turn that into an advantage. As a Mongol he definitely could, but is it going to be enough? Not exactly sure, because for all his strong units to be all that useful, he probably will have to rely on his teammates to help him in securing the water. So of course, pretty big numbers for the blue player, as they are having a bit of a micro battle in here. And looking at the amount of dogs for the blue player right next to the battlefield, I would be really favoring him. But so far we don't see all that many replacements coming up. Blue King Marv, so many players in here, that's going to be tough to switch between them. And yeah, he's building from all the dogs, so he's pretty much fine, as the cheaper boats are quite alright. Having a look on the left side, it's almost looking like that actually T-West as a Viking is not having such an upper hand as you would be maybe expecting against Akeno, who is Japanese, so the Japanese player is so far doing quite well, as we are looking War Galleys coming for Pete Barn, and G-Man Streams, but Idefix and Game Video are advancing into the castle ages as well. But still, that's going to mean basically just one castle right now for IIDA. Whereas for the opponents, we are looking at one, it's second, oh well, it seems to be reasonably equal still. Okay, so these war guys are definitely a problem, as green will have to retreat because he's not advancing into castle yet. Definitely not good engagement for him at all, especially with T-West being in for the fun as well. And we are right now waiting for Idefix to actually join into the fun in full, and he is having reinforcement sorry, on the right coming in, but he is still quite some ways away from the Castle Age and from the War Galleys himself. So of course this is going to be a bit of a problem for IIDAs, as Stsn should be having the upper hand in here, and it's going to be just about not losing all that many units. He really should be just retreating, but switching into Akeno, is he actually getting ready to advance? Well, cannot say that he is all that much. He's now right now invested into Wheelbarrow. Alright, so he's definitely not going anywhere anytime soon, so it's going to be all up to the yellow player, and they are really thinking that it's going to be enough, but I'm not all that sure, because the Viking is quite nicely present together with this purple, or rather grey Peter Pan present, so yeah, not all that well going for him. In the meantime, on the right side, the faster Castle Age from midstream is definitely paying off. You can see that he has already killed like 4 villagers on the wood line. That's definitely useful for him, but there are still safer wood lines on the right, so not much of a problem for him, and he should be able to survive quite fine. But you don't see all that many boats from him, they are just hidden at the top. As we are looking at pretty decent army from King Mar being here as well, so that's a pretty strong rebel on the right, whereas on the left it's basically the opposing double, but I don't think all that strong as it is on the right, so I would be slightly favoring IIDA at this point in the game. It seems like that they are having a slight edge as we are having a bit of a pause, and for example, let's look at the villages. 38 for T-West, 37 for Akeno. Well, Akeno was the one who was going for Wheelbarrow, he still is. So yeah, he kind of makes sense that he's building a lot of villages. And do we see something interesting in here? Just the 19 fishing boats for game video. And that's going to be pretty much it. 29 for main streams, but that's the same as for game video. But game video does have the 16 extra fishing boats, so it does have the stronger economy. And well, main streams did advance faster into the Castle Age, which is so far paying off quite well. So hopefully it's going to be working for their team overall, because so far it definitely seems like it is. Ballistics coming in for Peter Pan, or better boats on the left flank side of the battlefield. Alright, definitely cannot engage the guys from Stsn, not having an easy time in here against all those numbers, whereas on the left it's almost looking like that actually Idefix is not intent on helping his teammate Green all that directly. Basically just now targeting the supply routes, all the reinforcements, and basically trying to kill everything at his disposal. And unfortunately T-West just now going into Castle Age, but also losing quite a decent amount of galleys. Is something that he doesn't want. Well, to be a whole lot more careful, because this didn't go all that well for him. In the meantime, Idefix needs to retreat, and basically needs to wait for Green to be getting into place as well, as you are just waiting for Akeno to gather enough resources for the Castle Age, so that he can join in full, and once that happens, right now going for Town Watch. Once the Castle Age hits from Akeno, really, I'm kind of thinking that they will be winning on the left as well, because the numbers from the galleys, rather of the galleys for the green player, are pretty decent, and they seem to be more than matching for all the army that the opponents are having here. Pretty good reinforcements coming in, exactly on time, as on the right we are looking at more equal battle right now, because finally Red is having some army into fun as well, as he's going to be joining his teammate Buddy. And Castle Age coming for T-West, and exactly Buddy. So yeah, Akeno definitely should be heading up, he already has the food, so he should be clicking in. As King Marv is clicking in as well, and well, we are probably aiming into a bit of an interim in the game, as we are going to be waiting for all the war galleys and such. So it's probably going to be a bit of time around without too strong engagements, maybe on the left, as Castle Age is clicking in for Akeno as the last player as well. And yeah, exactly, you can see the number of galleys here. Once that turns into war galleys, together with the army that Idefix is already having, this will be pretty strong, and really these numbers are nowhere near enough to be good for this engagement. Even now they are pretty much alright to go for these engagements, and I just think that they should be a bit more careful. And that Idefix should be actually in the front, and Akeno should be hiding behind him, because of course, these boats are a bit stronger. And much more importantly, if you lose all that many galleys needlessly, you are not going to be having the power spike that you will get with the upgrade that you are gonna get pretty soon. Bit of adventuring from G-Man's teams as he was having a bit of a look around the island. Blue is continuing with it, just now going to be hitting into Castle Edge, and there are not really all that many boats. They seem to be going to the left. Together with purple. Oh yeah, that's going to be a pretty nasty surprise, because he's basically gonna kill the fishing economy for the purple player, which is pretty good. He was having about 8 or some such, but much more importantly, the red player will be in danger, and once he loses all those fishing boats, basically his boom is going to be stalled. And that will give a pretty good chance for the opponents to basically make up for the potential deficit that they had, exactly due to gathering on the fishies. Some important engagement on the left. Still basically just winning on the sheer numbers. As war guys are coming in with Botkin arrow for Akeno. And Deal is already having war guys as well, but not having the numbers yet. But oh, right now he seems to be switching into basically full-on production of the boats as they are coming out of the docks. So yep, the window of opportunity is going to be closing soon, and they should be really using this. Akeno with Idefix, they should be attacking right now with everything they have, because once they let their opponents get the numbers, well, I'm fairly certain that the Vikings should be having the upper hand in there in the fight, just because of the lower cost of all the boats. This is aiming for a pretty big engagement, as on the right side there's going to be basically a similar engagement going on in there. This is going one way, so let's switch into the right side, where orange with blue are right now having basically equal armada as their teammates are having on the left. But on the right, not a bad army itself. Not a bad army itself from game video, and Buddy that is going to be aiming into their backs, and I'm also noticing a bit of a raiding party by Akeno on the left side around the Teal Island, and that's not a bad news at all for them, not a bad idea. And he already killed at least one of the villagers, and his skeleton in the corner. And otherwise it shouldn't be all that much of a problem, because you can see that the placement of the wood line of the gold and such seems to be quite alright. Not really in the range of anything, so yeah, shouldn't be all that problematic, but he's at least mopping up all those fishing boats behind the enemy bases, and that's of course quite valuable. Oh, this is going to be important. This is going to be very important, because this is looking like that green is just going to be defending, not really going for offensive on the opponents, because they have deemed it better to switch to the right side, as on the left the army is not really all that strong. And since King Marv together with G-Man's teams are already engaging quite well with the opponents, all the army from yellow is just going to be turning this battle on its head, and Stinsons are going to be, barely outnumbered and really hammered pretty bad. I don't exactly see how this battle could be going well for Stinsons. They should be already knowing that there are reinforcements from yellow, but I'm not exactly thinking that this is the best course of action going from the bottom. They should be going around, killing both the reinforcements, and of course getting, for example, behind the escape route of all this army. And if they cannot escape, they just lose basically the whole naval units that they are having in one big battle. But that's just a game over right there. So yellow should be coming around the island. Right now he's switching there, but so are his teammates. Whereas on the left, still a bit of raiding going on by the green, but it's going to be repelled now, and he is of course forced into heavy defensive due to basically missing the numbers. And the Viking from Stinson is right now probably going to win, if he hasn't won already. Well, not yet, but he's definitely doing a pretty good job, and it's really looking like that green is not up to par with him, which is kinda expected, but well, he does have boats all around the place, so that might be also part of the reason why he's not doing all that well. But it has to be said, he's fighting against two opponents, against Peter Pan and T-West at the same time, so of course it's kinda expected he's going to be having slight problems in there. They are not really all that significant, I would be thinking, as the problems are on the right. As the Idefix army in here is definitely paying off quite well. Orange right now in the middle, and it's almost looking like that he might be interested in going into the left. Kinda tricky. Probably fell for the trap, thinking that it could be possible for him. Well, it isn't. And well, he's right now switching back into the right side with green. Oh, joining there as well. So it's going to be all four players from IIDA fighting on the one spot, and they are definitely aiming in for the kill. They will attempt to basically separate the enemies and kill them one by one. Basically separate 4v2s. That might be just working quite alright for them. Let's see. Let's see if they place correctly. Coming in with orange already in there. Blue is coming from the bottom, getting on the gold, so that's potentially a bit of a problem for him. He does have the second gold mine, so he's not out of the game yet. I'm gonna have a bit of fun with the boats, as Imperial Age is next in line for both the West and Idefix. With Saracens and Vikings. And not really working all that well. As the yellow army is of course paying off, whereas at the bottom, as would be expected, since all the army from the green player has been sent to the right and from yellow as well, they are right now not winning the water at all on their side, but they are probably just waiting for the right moment, because reinforcements from Akenon are just now growing in numbers at the back of his island, and he's basically just waiting for the correct time to surprise their opponents together with yellow. Yeah, they are basically luring them into the trap. That's pretty nicely played. Very clever idea. Steel is just right now patrolling in the middle and probably hoping that he can be joined in with his teammate once some crucial battle happens. So far I don't really see any kind of attempts at landing or some such. Not even into the middle islands. And this is probably just to prevent landing, I would be thinking. These probably aren't just forgotten boats. Be looking for when the opposing boats are going to be arriving onto the middle island to take the land in there, because there was a bit of raiding from game video into both the stone and the wood, mainly on the wood. A few skeletons, but that's pretty much it. And I'm just going to be looking at yellow pursuing all the fishing boats from red, but it's kind of inevitable fate for them. Are going to be following their predecessors to the bottom of the sea. Imperial Age is coming up from pretty much everybody, so we are definitely aiming for the late part of this game. Yeah, kinda good buy water economy for game video. Well played in there, as green is still very much present with orange also, and where is actually blue? He should be somewhere in here, in the middle. He definitely is, as he's basically getting rid of some remaining boats, being held by his orange teammate as well, so they seem to be occupying the right side of the map quite alright. Whereas on the left, of course, it's going much better for Stsn, as still Peter Pan with T-West are doing a pretty good job against kinda lonesome Akeno, whose reinforcements were just right now massacred. It seems like he's having just this army left, whereas yellow, oh well, he's growing in numbers. He's growing in numbers and going to be quite dangerous for his opponents very soon, even though galleons are already in. Whereas for yellow, it's going to be just now. Switch exactly into galleons at the right time, and once he gets some extra support from the green player, it's going to be quite alright to engage yet again to the teal player. As yellow is right now clearing up at the top. The number of fishing boats is getting lower for the red player. It's going to be 0 pretty soon. Bit of a scouting probably. Maybe it could be forgotten because it's in kinda weird place. But otherwise, looking around, I don't exactly see if there's going to be happening something extra special. Because it's really looking like that it's going to be full-on water battle still, as we are looking at green player taking a bit of a back at the economy of game video, and quite successfully so, trying to keep him off the wood line. Is of course going to be the next course of action for the players. In the meantime, seems to be happening. Same seems to be happening from Peter Pan and the West on the left, as they are trying to basically control their opponents in there. And since the army from the Viking is pretty large, like seriously large, you can see all this, and he's still having extra army at the top. Okay, all the reinforcements, and count into that all the great boats. Well, this is kind of scary, and the fixes should be really getting a bit more careful, because this might be getting out of hand, and they should be recalling some of the units. Potentially green will be coming back home after he massacres all the villages apparently. Oh, that's quite deadly for game video actually. with all the orange army right now. He has been killing all the army, or rather all the villages on the right, on the wood and stone. And oh man, game video is right now down to how many villages? 44, which is by very far, the least of all the players. And the economy, well, seems to be much better for IIDAs. Like, seriously better, but it's not really any kind of convincing victory yet for them. Because on the water they are really doing quite good job, Stsn, and they have a pretty good chance of nothing counting here. We are seeing actually flare onto this island by yellow, so they might be thinking about landing. Orange on the right. Normal boats, not any kind of landing happening. But he's going all around the blue island, of course. But blue is his teammate, so nothing all that crucial. But yellow is right now quite cleverly switching from raiding just onto the red island, onto the grey one as well. And it could be that he might be in range of those gold miners. But he needs to get rid of the tower, of course, because that's a bit of a problem for him. But definitely is in range of all those lumberjacks, and he definitely can deal damage to the economy of his opponents, especially with the orange help right now coming from the top. And it's almost looking like that the noose is closing around the neck of Stsn. Because as far as basically like a minute ago, they were having a pretty good game against their opponents on the left. They still are, but with orange and basically all the reinforcements from him coming onto the left right now, they will be winning the water battle in here if they play it correctly. But they shouldn't be really engaging, I think, from IIDFX, rather by IIDFX, because he's just losing units needlessly, and he should be trying to basically play a bit of a cat and mouse before he's ready, as all the reinforcements from teal are just quite easily making up for the numbers that those yellow ships could be taken down from all this armada. Right now looking at orange, basically trying to make a battle against all those extra flanks, and this is kind of scary, because this is just second squad of boats, whereas the first one is already here, and it's such a big amount of boats that right now I'm not exactly sure if actually it does realize the situation. This is actually going to be quite problematic for them to take down, and if Stsn plays this correctly, they really might be overcoming all the army of their opponents like easily, because it's almost looking like that we are going to be switching into a bit of a land battle and abandoning the water, and that's exactly what is happening, because King Marv is right now trying to finish Buddy, and he definitely is in a pretty good spot for that, because the castle is down, which means trebuchets and arbalists on top of that from Viking. And Castle Age is going to be basically taking over the Imperial Age in here, because the castles are going to be very crucial. Yep, things like that, but he's basically out of the game. He's not even retreated anywhere. He doesn't even have docks, and he cannot escape from this position, because of course they are paying quite enough attention, IIDAs, and it's really looking like that the purple player is not going to be surviving for much longer. And even though the amount of boats on the left is quite alright, and they are landing in there as well, yep, well, let's not be too hasty. I was going to call it basically a game, but definitely not true at all, because if this goes fast enough from T-West, he definitely could be killing his opponent as easily, because he's not ready for this at all. He's having just castle. And Cannon Galleons, hello! So that's going to be coming down, and even the samurais might not be enough to actually help defend against what is going to come from the Viking, basically the same as on the right, but he's going to be switching into knights rather than the arbalists. Another castle coming up, so it seems to be that Aken is much better ready for what is to come, whereas on the right side it's basically, yeah, it's done deal for Buddy. Down to literally 4 villages, 3 villages now, and where they are? Ah, they are actually here. So let's just see if this Mangonel can be saving them or not, but definitely Buddy is out of the game, so it's going to be 3 versus 4 for the remainder of this game 1 of the match between Stsn and IIDAs. And yeah, I'm kind of afraid that those two guys are not going to be rebuilding the empire this time around. It would be kind of tough for 2 guys, without a girl. Okay, so Landon is going to be switching off to the top, as Buddy is basically dead. Still does have the town center, but yeah, that's just a question of time before it is gone. And in the middle we are looking at Orange Fleet doing pretty decent damage even into this island, because this is still purpose, or rather Grace Island, many colors in this game, and this is very nicely played castle. Very nicely placed and played, as it will of course help him control the middle of the map and make it a bit harder for men's teams to go into any kind of landing or even offensive into the middle of the map. So they are doing well on the left, as Steel is right now being pushed back from yellow, as he was forced to basically send units elsewhere, and he's right now concentrating on the water battle, or rather on the land battle rather than the water battle. And the knights seem to be quite a good idea, but he could definitely be using the arbalests against the basically inevitable samurais coming up, and on top of that even monks. So yeah, and I'm not exactly sure if the knights are the correct choice in here. The arbalests, as we have seen from King Marv, seem to be much better choice. Yeah, especially right now you can see the drawback of the knights as they are being converted by the green player and used against their own friends. Just a minute ago. Meantime, galleons from the green player are just trying to get rid of all this landing. Maybe that is going to be successful, because this trebuchet is not right now being really challenged like at all, but those cannon galleons, they definitely could be doing the job. They will be getting rid of the castle, and since this island is kind of tricky, he could be getting rid of this town center, this one as well, this castle, maybe getting actually rid of whole island just through the cannon galleons. So let's wait and see how that is going to go. In the meantime, Orange at the top doing a pretty good job getting rid of the economy and basically controlling the Teal Island, not allowing him to do a whole lot. Still, but he could be alive. But with this trebuchet, probably going to be reduced to ash pretty soon, and we are already moving into another landing, and that's going to be King Marv continuing his crusade against the opponents, and Game Video is next in line. Castle dropped, another as well. He's Mongol, so potentially the Mangurais could be a pretty good unit for him, but I'm not all that sure that he's ready for it economically. Let's switch into his point of view. Game Video, well, yeah, he doesn't have the resources all that much. So it seems like that it's going to be just inevitable going into the graveyard for this game. Even though he still does have a lot of room at the back where he could be retreating back to, as he's right now attempting to do so. Still, this is going to be quite deadly once the castle is up, and it seems like that it's going to be up exactly right now. And looking somewhere else on the map, we are looking at GG's being called, as yellow with orange are already having pretty good army, and will be getting rid of this as well. And since this landing is not going fast enough for T-West, it's going to be a GG. And well, after a pretty tough fight, IIDAs are claiming the first game, but Stsn definitely did have their chance, and on the left they were doing quite well. But unfortunately, they didn't really account for the switching of armadas from left to the right by IIDAs, and that's basically what won the game. Better maneuvers for IIDA fixes drunk again. So let's have a look at the achievements. Here we are looking at the G-Man's teams. He was playing well, he was in the pocket, so he kind of figures he's going to be having the highest score. And yeah, he played quite well. Don't have a problem with that. King Marv also. Those two, they played quite alright. And there was a bit of a slinging, but nothing major. Just into Peter Pan, a lot of it. But unfortunately it didn't work out. But I'm thinking it might have been slung at a time when the game was already kind of overish. You can see Buddy Sand slinging 50,000 resources actually. That's not bad, but it was at a point where he was probably gonna get killed already, or was expecting that he's gonna get killed. It didn't make, unfortunately for him, a whole lot of difference. Well, GG.